Welcome guys to this new video. So this video is very different from all the other ones that I ever uploaded. This video is more for like educational purposes, let's say it like that. So basically this video is going to be the ultra short guide to Git. And yeah, basically in here we will be explaining how to download Git, how to set up Git, and also how to like create repositories for your own project. This is something that I wanted to share because like Git is a pretty awesome tool to use. I know a lot of people use GitHub, but trust me, Git is kinda more complete than GitHub. But yeah, so let's dive right into it. So the first thing that we want to actually do is to enter into the Git page, like the one that I showed earlier, and click download. Once you hit download, just hit next until you find the screen that is similar to this one. Please excuse me for the 4K visualization of this screen. I know it's very detailed, but just bear with me. Now you just need to hit next. And again, once you are in this screen, you need to do the following changes. You need to uncheck two specific things. First, the open Git GUI here and the scaler. Then you need to check just one box. Add a Git bash profile for Windows Terminal. And this will play an important role later on. Now our favorite thing, click next. And now we can choose our default editor. I chose in this case Visual Studio Code. It is the one that I use. Now let's see if my memory is right. So first we're going to check the override, then we're going to skip, and then enable one last thing, and then that should finish. Now that Git is already installed in your computer, you're going to enter GitHub. Now, I know that I already said that Git is better than GitHub, but basically in GitHub, like you want to show your repositories to other people, so GitHub is the place to go. Now, you need to pay close attention because we're going to do something kind of complex. And I am not an expert in this topic. My professor is. Shout out to him, by the way. He's actually also preparing a very lengthy extensive Git tutorial guide. I am just making like this tutorial because he helped me and I want to help you guys with it. So the voice that you're going to be hearing from here on out, until I say, is going to be my professor's voice, and also probably my voice kinda in the background.
So now we need to generate a key. So what I need to do is I need to git bash so that I can generate an encryption key. So it's ssh dash keygen to generate a key, and then it is in this case of type ed25519. That's the type of the encryption key. And then it is dash capital C. Capital C is important because it's a comment.
Okay.
And I'm just going to add a comment. And this is, I don't know, laptop. Sure. Right? And then this just enter, enter, enter. And it has generated a key for us. Now, we do a cat.ssh .id.pub, like that. I'm just doing tab for autocomplete. And now we have access to this. This is the public part of our encryption key. The private you should never share. But here we come through the public. We go into settings. Okay, I'll go there. And in here, SSH and GPG keys. New SSH key. We paste this there. And let's say that this is laptop. Add SSH key. And now we have this key to authenticate with GitHub. Okay, so now GitHub has access to the key, so it can actually authenticate things. The next part is we need to actually start the authentication manager. So we start it like this. SSH dash agent dash it's S. Okay, so we're just starting the authentication agent. It's not started, and then we add our authentication key to here, identity added. Okay, so now everything is like we only do this once. So now it's set up, and Git now knows about our encryption key.
Now that's a lot of information. And at first I was pretty much like the struggling guy, as I put in the video earlier. But right now I know a lot more things because of this beautiful world called Git. Now, I want to explain something else real quick before exploding. I was wondering why we are doing this encryption key. Why is this necessary at all? So I asked my professor why we do this, and he told me this is the only way that Git can communicate with GitHub. So basically you can do things from Git and then uploading it to GitHub. Getting this encryption key basically communicates in between the two sites. And also in this encryption key you also get the decryption key. You create a public key and in parallel you create your private key. As my professor mentioned in the video, you should never share your private key. Your private key is your encryption key, and your public key is your decryption key. Only you that has the lock and the key can do anything on GitHub, or well, in this case in Git. Now this is bonus content because we finished all that is with Git, but now I really like this. Like, I really like all of this, creating repositories, creating projects, sharing your projects with the world. So I will keep going until like the setup video that the professor gave me is finished. Now we will see how to create a repo. And no, we will not see any more of my professor. I will be explaining this part. So what you want to do with this is that you want to actually go into the plus sign, if I'm not mistaken, then create new repository. As simple as that. That is that is essentially all you have to do. So you go that, create a blank repository, like put the name of your project, I don't know, and then just hit create, and there you go. You just created your first repository. Now we're going to move on onto setting the repository. Also, sorry, I'm creating this as I go. I don't have a script, I'm just here like speaking. Something important that you want to do when you created the repository is to actually select the SSH. So you're gonna see two options, HTTP and SSH. Select SSH. Now, we have our repository, but this repository is blank. So now you actually need to grab the project that you're working on and basically upload that through Git onto the GitHub. And we're going to do that very briefly, but right now I want to talk about the gitignore. Gitignore is a way for us to save space in our projects. So our projects tend to be not that large because all of this is done for scalability, but sometimes we don't want our project to be that large. Sometimes the way that we work also produces some special types of files that are not useful for our repository. So that's why it was created the gitignore. Now, The official documentation has a way to manually introduce gitignore, but also the same documentation says that you can also go into GitHub, search for gitignore, and voila. And now I'm going to tell you how you can do that. You need to search on Google the thing, like the repository that you want to make, and then gitignore. For example, I am working on a Unity project, so I put Unity gitignore. If you're going to work on a web page, you should put, there are many ways of making like web pages and stuff. You most certainly would need like JavaScript. Then you would put JavaScript gitignore. Like there is a lot of things, a lot of nitpicks here and there about certain specialties, but the safest way to do it is either go to gitignore GitHub and check all the gitignores that there are, or check the specific thing that you want to do and then gitignore. Query it on Google and then usually click the first link if the first link is a GitHub repository. Once you find the gitignore repository that you want, there should be an option somewhere around the web page called raw. Select that and then copy the link. Swiftly change to the file, the root file of the project that you're working on. Then you do right click, open terminal, and then you can put, for example, ls, and then it should be like all GitHub related stuff. Once you check that, you need to put IWR, paste the link, paste the raw link that I told you to get earlier, then do space dash out file space dot gitignore if I'm not mistaken. If I'm mistaken, then I will correct that on the screen. Congratulations! Now you have your gitignore totally in your repository. And now we will do something that is more like a tradition in between developers, coders, people who like coding and stuff. It's a README file. So what you're gonna do is you right click on the root folder, then new, and then there should be an option called the text document or document text, I don't remember, but you can name it whatever, that's not important. The curious thing here is that you put the last term, like the one that dictate the file type. It is obviously a text file, so the termination is going to be the .txt. You need to change it for some reason .md. I don't know why. I haven't asked that my professor, to be honest. So the README is basically just like you acknowledging that you are the author, and basically you are describing what is the objective of your project. Nothing more, nothing less. Next is to actually add a license. I will not show how to add a license because as of right now I haven't added my license yet. Actually, if you go to license GitHub, it will tell you like if you don't put any license into your repository, your license will be like a default one, which I don't know what that means. But my professor always likes to say like the MIT license, it is the best. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to venture to have your own license, well, not your own license, but to choose a correct license, you can check that out. Now it comes the fun part, to actually create the repository using Git. So first what you need to do is in the command prompt that we opened in the root of the folder where we did the IWR, we actually need to put our first command prompt of Git. The famous git init. This will initialize the repository. So imagine it as a blank slate. And now Git is saying, okay, I've been brought into this world and I'm exactly in this specific folder. Oh, I noticed that there are some files here. Okay, Unity, some temp folders. Oh, also there's a gitignore. Okay. But you, as the user, don't know that. How can you notice that change? you do a git status. So once you do a git status, you know what git actually sees. Okay, so you see everything and you say, okay, everything that git is seeing is correct. I want all of that. So then you say, okay, git add and then a dot, a point. This means that it will add all the information that is inside of this folder. Okay, now Git is like, okay, so the user actually wants all this information. Okay, I'm going to stage all this information. And now Git is waiting for the actual commit, the initial commit. And this is why my professor said to always commit often, because the more you slice, the more Git is going to actually know what it needs to do when you're going to do branching and merging and checkouts and other stuff. And that is our first repository. We're also missing one specific thing. This is the thing that we're missing. It is this little detail right here. And I can write it, but I much prefer show a picture of it, because me actually writing it, I'm tired. You know, I've been working here for 5 days, and I don't know. I feel like this video is actually good. Also, I want to talk with you guys. So basically, what you need to have is that, remember that page of the SSH that you need to copy the link. We did the IWR and stuff. Basically, if you scroll down, there should be a commit line, which basically Git already gives you, already done. So you just need to copy that, then paste that when you already initialize it, when you already saw the status, when you already added all the files, when you already committed the files. Then you just git push, and that's it. Our job here is done. Hello guys, this is me in the very end. I said before that I wanted to talk to you, and I will, but this is no place for us to talk. Let me show you a better one. Don't even try to search the image that is in the background, because you will not find it anywhere. In fact, it is a picture that I took with my own phone. But here we are. Welcome to the end of the video. Thank you for staying this long. This video is 18 minutes long, almost 20 minutes long. The original footage of the whole ordeal of setting up Git, the repositories and stuff is only 16 minutes. I don't know. I just like to ramble about random stuff to kind of waste time. But once again, thank you very much for staying here until the end. I want to give the thanks to my professor as well. He helped me making this video, but at the same time, he made me finish the video as well. I was wavering. I was saying, I don't know. I don't really like the edition of what I did and stuff. And my professor is like, don't worry, just go for it. And this is my way of thanking him. Actually uploading the video. And the more that I worked on it, the more that I felt better on it. But yeah. So I know that programming and stuff, I always put myself in a cave, the like always being in the dark, so on and so forth, but it is a happy place for me to be. And I also invite you guys to check out Git's documentation to put out into the world your creations, your project, whichever they may be. Maybe not on Git, but perhaps in YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you like to do, whatever you can do. I want to see what you guys are doing. And I know I don't get a lot of views, but just imagine 10 years from now, people hearing this video, just checking out all videos from this channel and finding this little piece right here. But yeah, things are going to be better in the future. I know it because I already planned for it. But yeah, also, I don't know if I will be announcing the project that I'm gonna be working with some friends. Perhaps in the future I might even send a trailer on this channel. But yeah, thank you very much. This has been me talking to you, and I'll see you probably in a long time. I don't know when is the next off topic video that I'm going to upload.